don't know about. I wasn't around for so many years.
No, you weren't born until we're on Glenwood.
So here we are on the
Before
12th of October, 1997, and Bernice Goulet Melton is going to give a few thoughts and recollections of her early years. Her husband Larry and her younger brother Bernard are watching and prompting a little bit. Okay. No, I was too young. I was just a baby. I didn't get to go to Willowdale Farm with you people.
Oh, no.
And so,
You didn't get to go to Washington Street, and you didn't get to go to Uncle Bill's farm,
no, I
and
didn't.
Willowdale.
No,
We had been in 3 places after Reynolds. I was, born there, but you were born at on Glenwood, the Governor.
Were most of the kids born on Reynolds Street?
No, I was the last one.
Oh.
That was the last one. There was.
And so Joe was born after that.
There was 4 of us. Joe was born over on Washington Street.
Oh.
And
where did you live? 917 or 919 on Reynolds? The big house?
you know, that was always the question. They had 2 houses there, 917 and 919, and one of them they rented out, and it was the one closest to the railroad. It was a big one. There was a big house and a little house, and it was a big house that they lived in.
That the renters lived in, or that you lived in? The big
we
house?
lived in the big house.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. Well, there was 4.
Yeah, that'd be
little
919.
children, and Grandma and Grandpa and Mom and Dad, and us 4. Oh, and let's see. No, I guess by that time, Aunt Mame and them were probably married and gone, because she had 2 little girls by Mr. Geyer, But, yeah, you were born over there on Glenwood.
Yeah. I missed all the fun.
Toots was born in at Willowdale, when we were at Willowdale.
Who was?
Toots.
Oh, was she?
Clara Louise, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
She was born there, and and then she was a little girl there at 507, and then 502 you were born on Glenwood.
Oh, so that's why Mom went into the hospital for Toots, huh? Because
Yeah,
of living out on the farm.
Well, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now that tells me something I never knew.
She didn't like it either. She had all the children at home except Toots.
Yeah.
And she did not like it. Did not like it.
But it's why now that...
Well, they kept taking the baby away from her,
Oh.
And she didn't have it except to nurse it, and she wasn't used to that.
I'll be darned.
She was used to having that baby right there in the bed, right by her,
Huh.
But, yeah, let's see. You were born in that back bedroom there on 502.
That's what I understand.
Yeah.
I understand that was the day Mr. Kane's ice cream shop opened.
Well, I don't know about the person who was paying attention to an ice cream store.
Yeah, that's why I have born with that love of ice cream, right?
Yeah, I don't know, but it was right across the street from it, I know.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that was a day. Dr. Bernard, she had some midwife, I guess, too, some woman that helped prepare, everything.
Oh, I see. I didn't know Mom used a midwife. I thought it was...
Oh, it was some big gal. Well, she didn't have a nurse's outfit, so she had to be a midwife to help with birth.
Okay, I didn't know that. See, what I can learn here, Larry? My gosh.
But we were all set out in the house, and we sat out on the back porch.
I'll be darned.
And, yeah.
I understand that Lily Hunn, Eleanor's friend, was over or something. Or was that afterwards?
I don't even remember that.
Mm.
And I don't remember that at all. No, all I can remember is those two in the back room.
Huh.
But, oh boy, I don't know. I was trying to think how old I was, but I didn't figure it out. But
Well,
I
you
know
must have been a young teenager, just...
I must have been young.
You're born in 1913.
Yeah, because Toots was 8 years older than me, and Joe was how many older than her? About 5 or 6 years older than her.
Yeah.
So you must have been about 13 or something like that.
I must have. It seemed to me like I was in high school over on that side of the street, grade school on the other side.
Mm.
But I was the nanny, believe me.
Were you?
I was the nanny, yeah. Gosh, yeah.
Toots and Joe, huh?
Yeah. Well, I had Toots on the other side.
Oh.
Yeah, Mom had her hands full with, children and big house and yard and washing and everything. And Grandma was sick over there on that side, too.
Oh, she was starting to get sick.
Oh, yeah, she had heart trouble. She was upstairs in the bedroom, right at the top of the stairs. And that was when Coca-Cola was so big, and Doctor had her drinking Coca-Cola.
Oh.
Well, I don't know why, but
no,
we didn't drink it. It was.
Well, I think it had actual Coke in it back in those days.
I don't know why.
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe it helped her
a narcotic.
Birth or something like that.
Yeah, maybe.
But I can remember that so well because we look at those cold bottles and we'd say, but no, that was Grandma's. It was just almost considered medicine,
Yeah.
That was Grandma's.
Didn't you find that it was considered like that in those days, and now it's so common?
Oh, gosh, yeah. Well, that's it. But you see, it hadn't, in our family, it hadn't ever been there. We never drank bottled soda or anything like that. In fact, maybe there wasn't bottled soda yet. I don't really know, because we lived out, like I say, when I was about between 7 and 8 out at Uncle Bill's, we didn't have soda pop and stuff like that. We had lemonade, Dad's famous lemonade.
Oh, yeah.
And iced tea or something like that. That's about what we had to drink, But that was the first we saw bottled pop, and that was really something.
Soda pop.
Yeah.
That little thing isn't blinking. There's no red light.
If you say a soda pop, it means you came from Springfield, Illinois.
No, it's okay. It's recording, and I can see the numbers going along.
I just noticed there's no red light.
Huh. Maybe the red light goes on when it's on pause or something.
I have no idea.
There's no lens cover, and there's so this is Bernie's machine we're recording this on. So this is the first time I've ever tried using it, so we're hoping that it's okay. I wonder if we ought to turn that light on.
It just shine in there.
Yeah, that's true. If it's the light, that would take too much brightness. Yeah. So, there's so many things I'm just finding out about. My gosh. Well, just like you were talking about Mom selling soap and things like that. I didn't know. I
don't know how long she did that. I have no idea. I wasn't, being small, you're not aware when they're home or when they're not home. Grandma was there, to take care of us. And if we were playing, we just went right on playing. They're just, I just wasn't aware of when she was out doing it.
Yeah.
But I knew she did because we got all those toys that she'd get us.
So she must have been doing fairly well.
Yeah, she must have been doing pretty
good. Sort of an early day Avon lady.
Yeah.
I'll be there.
Well, it was, kind of like those, what do you call those? jewel fellows that go around, you know, and they have spices and things like that. Out in the country, they used to even have kitchen utensils and even some yardage material, you know, on their wagons. But they
Yeah, they traded for chickens and stuff like that out in the country.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't know what she traded. She
chicken
may have had butter, or you know. But well, that's the way Mom paid for Eleanor's room rent with the nurses when we lived out at Uncle Bill's. She used to be in high school.
Oh.
And so she stayed at the nurses on, let's see, what's about Walnut, Glenwood, State, somewhere, so right in there, right in that section over north of where we lived. But
so she wasn't out at the farm with you?
She lived there, but I mean, she went school time, where she stayed at Noose's.
Oh.
And Mom would have butter and buttermilk and homemade things, you know, like from the chickens and, you know, stuff like that for ham, you know, for Noose's, and that paid for Elmer's rent for staying there.
Oh, I'll be darned.
But,
and the rest of you didn't need to because you went to
we went to grade school. The trouble was then when we went over to the other school out at South Round Prairie, why Jen and Jerry, I think they graduated from that school. Well, that was another reason we almost had to come into Springfield. But
I'll be darned.
But we went out to Uncle Bill's on account of Dad's health. You know, he had TB, and we went out there, and of course Jerry was a teenager, and Uncle Bill really worked him, you know, too much.
Jerry?
Yeah. And Dad too. And he shouldn't. You know, he went out to get the good fresh air and butter and all the good things of farm life, you know, not the work. And we stayed there, well, I guess we stayed there about a year.
At Uncle Bill's? Yeah,
and then we went South Round Prairie. Well, then Eleanor still was in town, you know, with the nurses on and off. And so then Jen and Jerry graduated. Well, there was no high school out there, so then we had to come back. It was too much work for Dad anyway out in the country like that. We only had one cow and one horse, and I think they belonged to the farm, really. We lived on a Tuxhorn farm. And I think they really belonged to the farm.
Sort of went with the land, huh?
Well, I think, you know, that's the way they rented, you know. We had kids and anyway, why, it was just a little too much work. You know, Mom had turkeys. They drown themselves. You know, they get up in the tree and they turn their heads up in the rain and they drown.
No kidding.
Yeah, they're stupid animals. They're really stupid birds, really. But, well, I don't know. It was nice for kids. We had to go across the field, which would be about 2 blocks long to go to the school. But
yeah, that wasn't too bad. They didn't have to worry about you getting hurt by traffic and all.
That whole field had a lining of walnut trees. And the people from the city, they'd come and get the walnuts, which was all right, but they'd break the bushes down in between the trees, and then the cows would get out. The cow would get out, and we'd have to go chase it and get it. But you know, they don't think about things like that. They just get the nuts. But,
yeah, they didn't think of the bush being used as a fence.
No, they just climbed through. But we didn't care about them getting the nuts. But after we moved, I heard they sold all those walnut trees too. They must have made a bunch of money on that. Because it not only went down the length of our back field there, but it went the other way too. And they had another one, and there was a lot of good walnut there.
They sold them for lumber, you mean? Or?
Yeah, I think they did.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think they did. But that house could still be standing there for all I know. I haven't been out there for years. But then we came into town, and that was 507.
When did you get the car?
The car on Walnut
Did you
Street,
have that
Washington
out there?
and Walnut. Well, yeah, we had, I'm just trying to think. I think it was the same car.
Yeah, it must have been.
I believe it was, because, yeah, it was a Model T Ford. It had storm curtains and everything, you know, you buckle on and everything, isinglass.
Oh,
Yeah, it was, oh, you know, there was dirt roads when we went out to Uncle Bill's farm.
Yeah, I wonder where Mom and Dad ever got together the money to buy a car.
They didn't buy it, Uncle Bill gave it to her.
Oh, did she? Did
Yeah. Grandma was his sister, see?
Oh, I see.
I think she had something to do with it.
Yeah.
Cars probably weren't more than about $300 or so, $300 or $400 in those days.
I keep forgetting Grandma was living with you at this time, right?
Yeah. And I think she told him that they had to get him out to a farm, and he needed some help, you know. He was by himself.
Huh.
So, you know, with Mom to clean the house and do for him, and Grandma there, and young teenage boys to help.
Yeah.
In fact, Eleanor and Genevieve were good size too. See, they could all help. So anyway, yeah, he bought a car. Well, we were on Washington Street for a while, and then she learned to drive. She'd drive around the yard there.
Mom, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh.
And we didn't have a driveway, but there was the ground came like this, you know. And she comes along, and I don't know whether she couldn't stop or what, but she just went down and up. With kids, we were on the porch, and thought that was funny. Shit.
How'd Dad do learning to drive?
I don't know. I never ever saw him drive.
Oh, no kidding.
I told you, I don't think he did much driving because he was, you know how much he walked.
Yeah.
Well, he was close to town, and I'm not even sure where he worked at that time, but he could have walked to work, you know.
Oh, from Washington Street, or?
Yeah, Washington and Walnut. See, we had that whole, I guess it was about a fourth of a block there that was the whole end was cut off. Now it's all full of houses, Eddie Wampus, you know.
Yeah.
But it used to be Walnut and then John Street. Percy Darling lived right across the street from us. That was before he was a commissioner.
Right.
He used to sit there with his red hair and
oh, he was a redhead.
his undershirt, his bare feet up on the railing. You know, but he was a real friendly person. He did, you know, he didn't know an enemy.
Yeah, everybody seemed to like Percy.
Yeah.
I mean, he was sort of just elected as a joke from what I understand.
Well, that's right.
That's right.
He was. But you know, he was a darn good commissioner. He was really
that's
good.
what I heard.
Yeah.
You're very good.
And it was on the streets, wasn't it? The street commissioner. Yeah. He was good. But but I can't think who was running against him. I can't remember that, but it was kind of a joke.
I think
but then
Ku Klux Klan was involved in that, wasn't it? Ku Klux Klan was involved in that.
Oh my, I don't know.
And he vowed that if he got in office, if they ever tried to make a parade down Capitol Avenue, he'd bust them in the nose when they went by.
No kidding. He wasn't out.
He was a rough, kind of a rough guy, barrel chested on, just red hair. He was kind of tough, but he was a nice guy. He really was. But I guess he could be rough. Anyway, he got in, and he was a real good commissioner too. think he was in there for years.
Yeah, quite a
Yeah.
few. I don't know whether he died there or not.
I'll be darned. I don't know. I know he was in quite a while. But I was just a little tiny guy then. Just becoming aware of things like that. I heard something about Dad driving that car up into the yard there and hauling on the steering wheel or something, trying to help stop it.
Well, my dad, on Washington Street, I remember Mom's going around the yard, but I honestly, gas and oil or anything like that. She brought it into Jennings. It was right across from the mansion on Jackson. And she'd get out and they'd lift the front seat because it was under the front seat.
Oh, yeah.
And Joe and I, we loved the smell of that gasoline. And they had one of these gasoline tanks on the outside of Jennings there, and they'd fill it up and they'd put the battery water in and all that kind of stuff. It seemed to me like the battery was under that front seat, but I can't see how it would have been, but I can remember seeing them filling with a big syringe. It used to fill those little...
I know some Army vehicles and all that battery was under the seat.
You had to take the floorboards up to put water in the battery.
I do seem to remember seeing something like that.
Well, I don't know where it was, but he used to fix the battery and that, and they check the spark plugs, and then she'd go on and she took care of the car.
That was a tune-up.
Yeah, that was a tune-up. But I can't remember doing too much shopping around like that. I do remember coming in shopping when we were out at South Run Prairie. Well, that was a school. Out there, at Tucson Farm we took the train into to town, and bought shoes and things like that. I remember coming in. We always went to Springfield Dry Goods for everything, it seemed like. And there was a Fancy Bazaar. It was on the east side. Yeah.
On the east side of the square.
There was China and all kinds of stuff. But Wessenberger's was for cloth, and like that, and clothes, and shoes was that other Springfield Dry Goods. Fancy Bazaars for all kind of kitchen gadgets and stuff like that. So, but I can't remember the town other than those stores. I guess I was, small enough. We moved in when I was 9. So we must not have stayed at either Uncle Bill's or out there more than about a year or something.
Yeah, that's part of the family history, though. That's interesting to know you were out there, and that's why you got the car. Evidently, you needed it.
Well, Grandma evidently talked to me to give him a car, because he'd have to have it to come into town.
Mom talked about cooking for the hired hand.
Oh my gosh, they sure did. They cooked. They called it coon, but it must have been raccoon. It was dark meat. Just see that, but they loved it.
I'll be darned.
It was at threshing time, though. They would have ate anything.
Mom talked about stacks of pies. They put one pie on top of the other, and they wouldn't get messed up.
Well, I'll tell you, I remember sitting down eating or having that put in front of me to eat. I didn't eat it, but I don't remember all that other stuff because, see, we were smaller. And Joe was just big enough where he trailed behind me everywhere. And so I more or less took care of him. And then we were skedaddled out of the kitchen, see,
Yeah.
because no way did Grandma want us in there to get under her feet, you know. That was a lot of cooking then. The fact is, it was too hard to work. Neither one of them, they were country people, you know. They just, they tried to be, you know, for Dad's sake out there, and then for the kids' sake, I guess, maybe still for Dad's sake out there at the other place. But it was too hard. Too much work involved.
Yeah, did Dad go to the sanitarium before you went out?
No, when we were on Walnut Street, he went to the sanitarium.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah, early. Yeah, that was way out at the end of Lawrence Avenue. We take the streetcar out there, and then it would drop us off about where Pastel Park golf course is.
Yeah.
It would drop us off there, and then we'd have to go catty corner, way up on a hill. But I don't remember us being allowed in. The kids weren't allowed in. It seemed like we had to sit out, but that must have been what happened, because I can't remember too well.
Do you remember the name of the sanitarium?
Prince Sanitarium.
Prince Sanitarium.
Perks?
Prince.
Oh.
Prince.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah. But it was up there. I don't know, something up there still, but I don't know whether it's anything like that. But they enlarged whatever it was up there.
There's a big old house up there. I wonder if that was what used to be the sanitarium.
It seemed like it was long. It didn't seem like it was tall. But anyway, we'd go out there, and sometimes we didn't, but Grandma was beginning to get sick. She was having heart trouble.
Oh.
And see, she died over across the street then, 502.
Where I was born.
Yeah, where you were born.
Oh.
And
I was about a year old when she died, I guess.
was that? That's why I didn't get to go to the funeral. I had to.
Oh, had to stay and take care of me.
Take care of you. So.
I'll be darned.
Yeah.
She died from it was, what do you call it, an aneurysm burst?
Yeah, I think it was in her throat, because she was coughing, and she laid down, and then it burst. Mrs. Broughton, what was the lady next door's name?
Oh.
A little tiny, dark-haired lady.
Glenwood, I don't know.
Well, she was with her. She was with Mom, and I had gone downtown to buy Grandma a licorice stick. You know those? It's for colds. It's about this long.
Oh yeah, I remember those.
Kind of flat at one end.
Yeah, I remember Dad.
I remember going around after they told me Grandma died, going around carrying that thing. I didn't know what to do with it.
Oh.
You know, I really didn't know what to do with it. Finally, there was a kitchen cabinet there, and I just stuck it up there, and I don't know when they found that.
Oh.
But
that was the most awful licorice. There's no sugar in it at all.
Well, it was
licorice.
It was good for your cold, though.
Yeah, that's what they said. Dad used them, I know.
It was more medicine than candy.
Oh yeah, it was. It was a medicinal.
It was just a little bitter.
Oh, I remember trying to sneak a bite out of those a couple times, and it was just terrible. You know, I didn't do that anymore.
I liked licorice and I used to suck it when I'd have a cold.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
But
I liked licorice, but not that licorice.
Yeah, but I remember we were had been downtown, and Lucille Cox and I, and we were walking, and Walter Hunn had Dad in the car, and they were looking for us. They came up Walnut there, and they said, come home right away, something's happened to Grandma. And of course I knew right away that, what happened. But, yeah.
Yeah, indeed, you at home for her babysitting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that must have been a real upsetting time for the family back there.
Well, it was, because she was oh, I don't know, she was just kind of the hub, you know, and she was more or less my pal. You have to,
There it is. Okay, it's going again.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to mention as part of the family history is that Mom took in that little boy, Louis Coons.
oh, on Washington Street, yeah, that was,
His
I
mother,
think that was after Joe was born.
did his mother die in birth?
His mother died childbirth, yeah.
Oh. Oh, he was newborn when you took him.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize
Yeah,
that.
oh yeah, he was that's why the father couldn't take care of him.
Oh, I see.
You know, she died, and it must have been Mom's cousin. That girl must have been Mom's cousin, but I don't know what her name was. But she married William Coons.
And Mom had Joe as a young...
Joe was just a baby, he was about the same age, I guess.
Oh, so did Mom nurse Louis?
No, he bottled.
Oh, okay.
But Mom, at that time, I don't think, nursed the babies. She was pretty thin.
Oh.
Fact is, I don't know whether I was nursed or not. Because when seeing pictures of her, she's so thin, you know, that I doubt very much if she could.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I'll be darned.
Well, you look through some of those pictures. You know.
I didn't realize Mom ever went through a period like that where she...
Oh, well, how would you be with four kids?
Yeah.
And Grandma and Grandpa, and it might have been say, for instance, like Grandpa might have just died or something. You know, you can't tell. She did look bad, though. But I looked to me like I was about, 18 months, like something like that. She was holding me in her arm, you know, and I looked like I was about that old.
So they took care of this little baby then for how long?
Yeah, oh golly, I don't know how long. You know, he was just a child in the house, and he just, you know, I was only, what, 5 or 6 myself. Maybe 6, because I went to the 3rd grade. I was older than that, I guess. I must have been about 7 or 8 when you're in the 3rd grade. 8. That's what I went into out at the Hazlet School. Was in the 3rd grade, so it must have been about 8.
About 8 years old.
6, 7, 8, something like that. There was no kindergarten in those days.
Oh. Yeah, Mom was always seemed to be a little bitter about the way they took.
Well, they just took him, and they wanted to visit with him, you know, and so it was his baby. He did get married again, and so they came and they didn't even take his clothes, you know, and she gave him a change of clothes, but they took him for the day, and they never brought him back. He was their baby, you know. We didn't adopt him or anything, you know. You couldn't. Mom knew she was just taking care of him, but you get attached to him.
Oh, sure.
And he was the one that just about died of pneumonia. They thought it was, and somehow or other he had gotten hold of a peanut, and that was when Vicks came out. A sample of Vicks had been thrown on the front porch. Now it's real odd, but anyway, they couldn't break this pneumonia, what the doctor said was pneumonia. And anyway, he was whooping, you know, and coughing. And so she laid him across her lap, and she smeared his back, and she smeared his chest all full of Vicks. She put him in a blanket, and she was rocking him. And anyway, I don't know when it was, but he coughed up this peanut, and it was all with phlegm, and from then on, he started getting better. But Mom always said that was the Vicks. because he could breathe, that
Yeah.
big smell and everything, and I don't know what loosened. It must have loosened this phlegm or something, but here it had been a peanut.
I'll be darned. Well, she sure believed in that Vicks, I know.
Oh,
She
yes.
rubbed it on me.
Yeah. Hey, I still have it.
Do you?
Yeah, I put it right here on my chest.
Yeah, Barb used it on her.
I put a hand towel across and pin it to my gown and go to bed, and that'll open you up.
Oh, yeah, they
That's
say,
good.
here comes Mom with the Vicks.
That's all right. It
Yeah,
does
it's
open
like-
your head when you
Yeah.
smell it.
Like years ago when I was a little kid, whenever it stormed, well, you always had to go around the house throwing the holy water. You know?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
You get splashed at night.
I'd be sound asleep, but I'd hear that the splashes on my face. Well, it was storming. I knew it was storming.
God, yes.
I'll be darned.
I think that's
didn't
why
know about
we had such a fear of storms. You know
Yes.
it? Because when I can hear Mom's voice said, and how clear it is, when there's going to be a storm, and you'd be out in the
Yeah.
house in the yard or someplace, and she'd over, "Hey, Joey," and it was real high, and it was
Yeah.
real clear, and I could still hear that voice, and that meant, come on, there's a storm coming. And we'd all run to the house, and then everything be closed up, and then that's fine.
I'll be darned.
But sometimes if we were up in the hayloft at Uncle Bill's, where she knew we'd be okay up there, I don't know why the top of the barn was right under the lightning rod.
Yeah.
but we used to play up there a lot in the hay, climb around.
Oh, man.
But Joe and I, that's where I tried to smoke out behind the barn. He never did tell on me, I guess. But it doesn't taste very good.
Oh.
Okay.
Hide my eczema.
Yeah, I'm curious about that myself. How did you two meet each other?
Well, I knew about him. This is going to be something. Anyway, we belong to about the CYO now.
Oh.
Well, they were trying to get all the teenagers and that interested in a social club down at the cathedral.
Mm-hmm.
And
Marry them off to each other.
Oh.
well, they wanted just to meet other parish kids, see.
Oh.
But anyway, why, he belonged over to Sacred Heart group. They had a players group. The Sacred Heart Players, they called it.
Yeah.
And they fixed up little shows and things like that. And they would show them, I don't know where, but anyway, they did have different shows. And I, being in the social club, I knew the group. And so I think Jen and I went there one time and just watching them, And I saw Larry there, but I knew him from school too, and from the social club.
Mm.
And I was attracted. Like I say, it's going to let the kids know it was Mom that went after Dad instead of Dad after Mom. But he was shy. I guess I had French blood. But anyway, I thought he was pretty cute. And, well, the KCs, he belonged to the KCs, and there was a whole group of them.
Mm-hmm.
And,
We used to have dances.
well, they had dances, and you'd go ahead and you'd go to the dance with this guy. Maybe next time you'd go with another guy, and then another guy, or whoever asked you, you went to the dance. You didn't date just one guy all the time.
Mm.
You dated many of them. You got to know a lot of kids,
Oh, yeah.
And so that's what that's what we were doing. It's, dating the different people. We go to these dances. And I know he lived in Litchfield at that time. And you were working in Capital Grocery there, weren't you?
Yeah, down in Litchfield, I don't know.
And
I get off on the weekends. I get off about noon on Saturday, and I could come home and have to go back to work Monday again. So there's a friend of mine that lived over in Carlinville. He worked for the same outfit. He had a car. So he'd come over and pick me up and bring me back, and we'd date around and stuff like that.
Go back to
And go back to Litchfield.
But I was dating Charlie Ross one time, and he was talking about that he, I was asking about him, and he says, he has a hard time dating because when he gets off, he comes to town, and everybody else has got dates. Well, then it's almost too late for him to get a date. I said, well, tell him to call me. I'll date him. Because I was wanting to get with him anyway. And so he must have told him. So one time he did call. And so we went out. Of course, he was not dating a stranger because I knew him. We had talked and we'd danced at the dances. So anyway, I guess after that, when he'd come to town,
I had a steady date.
There you go. There you go.
Well, we weren't going steady.
What did you first notice about her and all?
Oh, he never has told me, so
Yeah.
I doubt he'll tell you.
Yeah, what did you first notice about her? What did you like about her?
Well, we got to know each other there, and we knew each other a little bit at school too. We were in the same classes, stuff like that. But I don't know. I just got to liking her a little bit more than the rest of them.
There you go.
And pretty soon we started dating steady.
Oh.
That was it.
Oh, 50.
I did. Well, remember the time that we went out swimming, and you got burnt real bad.
Yeah.
He got sunburned
Oh,
real bad.
Oh God.
And I was, what day? You came home, I know, and you were.
I brought you home.
Brought me home, but I was late for another date. And Lloyd Morris, and he drove up as you were coming out. And I think that was the last time that happened. But that was, he had strips of skin.
Oh.
It came off. We sat in the shade of one of those big tall things that holds lights. It don't change at all.
Oh, man.
That's like the time I took your wife out swimming, and she sat in the shade of that little tiny little tree that was at the end. Well, the sun was here and the tree was here. And she sat here. Oh my God, she got burnt.
Oh, yeah, she burned,
she had the same coloring,
Like this Irish skin.
Oh, boy.
But, yeah, that was kind of, I don't remember anything about what date it was or anything like that. It was just part of living, You
You must have thought she was a pretty dark little French gal, huh?
Yeah.
I'll be darned. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I looked Italian as much as I look French.
Oh, you think?
Yeah, someone thought I was Italian one time. That Leslie Nemo, remember?
Oh, yeah.
That teacher.
Yeah,
He
you
thought
were
I
real
was
dark.
darker than I was too.
I'll be darned.
But anyway, I think we double dated and triple dated and went to dances and shows and stuff. That's what you did in those days. And I can't remember eating a lot like kids do today, though. You know what?
We used to go out and get slushers or something like that.
Yeah.
We were trying to get fat.
I was real skinny. Well, he was thin, but I was real
We were
skinny.
trying to put on some weight, so we'd go around these places they had.
Well, it was called Gray's. It was on 8th and,
South Grand, yeah.
Oh,
8th and South
South
Grand,
Grand.
yeah,
yeah.
no fast food. Man.
Yeah, and we
Yeah.
get slushers, and it was
Oh.
ice cream, but it was beaten up into, well, almost like a milkshake, but it was thicker.
Mm.
And we used to eat those things. Try our best to put some weight on.
I'll be darned.
But-
Most kids aren't fighting that too much nowadays.
I'll say that.
I know, I don't think you ever asked
We-
me to marry you. You just, you said something about you'd give me 6 months to get ready.
Yeah. I remember that, but I can't remember why 6 months, so.
I don't know, well, you probably were coming to town or
That was
something.
quite a while.
I
6
think
months.
he'd been called to the post office to
Oh.
work. And he was coming to town to, well, yeah, you were working for the post office then.
He told you had 6 months to get ready, huh?
6 months to get ready.
I'll be darned.
So,
Why the 6 months, I can't ever.
I don't know
remember.
either, but I think it might have taken a little more than that. But,
Oh, I got her an engagement ring.
yeah, you had your sister go with you and pick it out.
Yeah, she never did like that.
No, that was all right. That was all right. I didn't care. It was the thing of it is, he took her to pick it out, and then he picked out what he kind of liked, 2 of them, and then we went to Bridges ourselves and went in, and they laid rings out in front of me, and they which one I liked, and I liked this one, see, and so it happened to be the one that I think that you had liked yourself.
Oh,
So it worked out just fine.
great.
Yeah, but yeah, that was what was that on my birthday? I think it was, wasn't it?
I believe it was
Yeah.
August
Oh, my
24th.
gosh.
Yeah. Well, that was the date, but not the year. I can't remember the year.
Something about Lent, we had to wait till a certain time.
Oh,
to get
yeah.
married.
Yeah, you had to wait. Well, we waited till the
Easter was,
it was
Lent was over.
yeah. Well, you had to. You couldn't get married during Lent at all.
Oh, yeah.
You know that. And
We got married the first Saturday after Easter.
first Saturday after
Mm.
that.
After Easter.
Yeah, I quit work. I think it was the 8th, and then I think it was just a few days after that. It was Easter.
Where were you working then?
Shoe factory.
Oh, you were still at the shoe factory.
Yeah, I worked at the office at the shoe factory.
Oh, I didn't realize you'd been there all that
She
time.
quit about a week before.
Yeah,
we
I
got
worked
married.
there. I think it was 8 years.
Oh, for gosh
Yeah.
sakes.
6 years. 6 years.
Yeah.
6 years. 8 years. I
Quite a
worked at
bit.
the state house.
Hmm.
But yeah.
Who were you taking those chocolate bullets to out there?
Just my driver, Norman McDonough, and
Oh.
he picked Lucille up. He was dating her. Well, they got married later, but he was dating her. He picked her up, and then he picked me up and take us to work.
Oh.
And he loved those chocolate bullets. And it's kind of like a Tootsie Roll, only it was a little
Yeah.
harder.
Yeah, I
They don't make
remember-
them anymore.
I
don't-
remember going over to Lynx to get those.
Yeah, you had to have those. And I'd always give him a sack. Yeah, but I paid him to take me there,
Oh,
too, yeah.
okay.
I couldn't tell you how much, but I paid him. But anyway, I'd give him a sack of bullets. And then later on, when they got married, they moved way out northeast, so I had to get another ride. Well, I think it was Nick Vesper, I believe. He picked us up.
Yeah.
And he picked up, I always thought it was Sue's mother, but I don't know. She
Yeah,
talked like it was.
I hadn't realized you were there 8 full years. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
I think it was 6 at the shoe factory
Mm-hmm.
that I was there. But he used to send notes by the mailman
Oh.
to me.
Yeah.
And I don't know, the boss was up by the window one time, and he gave it to me, and it was always in these little brown envelopes,
Oh, yeah.
You can't use them, official business.
Official business.
And
Right.
and he brought it back to me. He says, I think you got a friend somewhere. I just laughed. But yeah, but that way, if he was going to be off, he would be picking me up in the evening. See, so. But yeah.
Well, we used to have to work a lot of times. After you delivered your mail, you had to work inside as a clerk.
Yeah.
If they got short, a little short, you know, got a little behind.
Oh, I see. Huh.
After we first got married, I'd get off about 3 o'clock and I'd come home. Then I'd have to go back again at 5 o'clock, work till about 9.
Oh, man.
It used to make me so mad. I'd have supper already, and then they'd call him to work.
Oh.
You know.
Boy, no, that's when they finally got to that part where they had to give you 6 hours off the
Oh,
clock.
Yeah.
that was
That
awful.
was a good thing.
You know,
when
morning
got
get
that.
home and I'd
Boy.
send him down to supper and he'd eat his
Oh,
supper
that'd
and
be
then
rough,
he'd go
yeah.
in, you know, but that was terrible.
Well,
But,
so
but our
is
first
there,
place we lived out on, what was it, 1508 South 8th. That was our first apartment. That's where we lived. And then the war, was the war came then, or don't know, see, there was something, I think that wasn't that Pearl Harbor?
Oh, we didn't like that old woman.
Well, she didn't like, yeah, she didn't,
She didn't want anybody having children.
and,
She wouldn't rent her apartment to anybody had children.
oh, yeah.
We were first married, so we could qualify, but then she found out we were married, she wanted to get rid of us. She's going to raise our rent.
yeah, she's gonna raise her rent. And
Oh, I forgot.
So my dad had, after I left home,
I think he wanted us up above him.
he started working on the upstairs on the second floor. He didn't need us, so he was going to make a little apartment up there to rent out.
Oh.
So we were the first renters.
I'll be there.
Yeah, so we went there.
That's where
So-
Larry was born, I think.
boy.
Yeah, well, he wasn't born there, but yeah, we had Larry there, and then we moved out on West Capitol, and Steve was born there, and then we bought the house on Pine, right behind the school. That's why we bought it.
Yeah.
And Kathy was born there,
I think so, yeah.
and Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I could still remember Pop when I was going off to have Stevie. He said, "Well, bring little Steven back," you know. And I said, "Well, if it's a boy, you know, will." But I wasn't sure whether it would be Steven or not at that time.
Yeah.
I hadn't really picked out a name, but his name was Stephen John.
Oh, I see.
But my dad's name was Joseph Edward.
Uh-huh.
So I thought, all right, you have to name him after the father, but Stephen Joseph. Well, they had an awful time. I had waited a few days before giving the nuns the name. They were pestering me for a name. Well, there were several people that didn't have their name. And so finally, when I came up with Stephen Joseph, sister says, after that, she says, "Oh, there were so many Stephen Josephs. They all like Stephen Joseph." And she says, "Enough now." But he kind of would have liked to have Larry be Stephen Joseph. And I can remember turning around and saying, "Oh no, if it's a boy, it's after the father." You know. I don't know. Maybe I was wrong, but anyway, I thought it would be better.
Well, to finish it off, here you people have been married, what, 53?
58.
58 years now, huh? My gosh, you did something right, that's for sure.
Well, we tried
So,
to.
Do you have any final thoughts about, would you do it all over again?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah. Same
Okay,
person, too.
That's a fine comment on it right there.
Yeah, I don't know where to find a better marriage.
There you
No,
go.
he's been a very helpful person. He's helped me with the babies. He's helped me with the housework. He's not a very selfish person. He just, he's always helped. It's been, it's made marriage so much nicer.
Oh, yeah.
I can't say I was overworked, And I can remember handing the tools to you on top of a ladder.
Yeah, she did a lot of work too.
Doing a few things too.
Okay,
But
there you go.
She helped me measure and stuff like that. She had a better eye than I did to measure.
Of course, but it takes cooperation.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of it, and that's what it takes. And if you won't cooperate with each other, why, it won't work.
Right.
That's wrong. But
Didn't make much money, but we had a lot of fun.
There you go.
it's been great. We got some great kids too.
Okay, that's a good commentary on it. All right, this is the story of Bernard T. Goulet Sr. Coming up.
I turned it off. Now,